Hello everyone, today we have new video review and this time we are going to check something interesting. It's a fresh release from Zvezda. You can see that it's a kit in 1/35 scale which copies a different version of the famous US tank. So it's M4A3 76W Sherman, and this is a plastic which was, let's say, updated to this version recently. So this kit should be already available, but I bought it with your help and I really appreciate it. Thank you guys, because without you it won't be possible to check it. And you can see that packaging here is, I would say, traditional for Zvezda. We have quite nice box art. We have also writing in Russian and English on the bottom. We have also scale mentioned here, 1/35, and there should be also kit number somewhere here or on the side. Yeah, it's written on the side, 3676. So let's flip it over. Here on the side you can see some information about the manufacturer. We have also this decals map, let's say. We have also information about the kit. So there are 322 parts which should assemble into model with a 16.8 centimeters length, which is not that huge model for a 1/35 scale, to be honest. Here, by the way, you can see the kit number. Here we have some other kits in the same scale, so some of them were reviewed on our YouTube channel. You can find it easily just by typing the kit number or kit name. And here on the rear side we have pictures of the finished model and also some background for the real tank. In case you don't know its history, then it might be handy, I guess. And as usual, box is sealed with this tape, so if there is no such tape, it means box was opened before you and you should ask seller why it is like that. But jokes aside, keep in mind that this seal should be present on both sides of the box. And the overall packaging design is standard for Zvezda, so if I open this, let's say, color printed sleeve, here inside we have, just give me a second to take out all the possible things which are inside this box. It means that I have here the small bill that it was bought, and also there was a special small note in a Czech language that it is not a toy. But returning to the package, we have this brown box which should protect everything inside, and frankly speaking it is quite sturdy. I've never seen, let's say, seriously damaged Zvezda plastic, but here you can see that it was packed with a plastic bag outside. Nothing serious, I hope, but it's quite tight packaging. It's almost up to the top, and of course all the sprues are packed into these two sealed plastic bags. So we are going to open them one by one and check what is actually supplied in this new version of the famous American tank. So let me cut through this plastic bag and we will start with gray plastic sprues. Frankly speaking, the previous Sherman from Zvezda was quite a nice offering because of its price, obviously, and also because of its quality. It's quite easy to build, and I'm still not finished with my Sherman, to be honest, but I truly hope that I will finish it soon and I will proceed with the next build. So here we start with the first frame, and there are 3 frames of such type in the box, so that's why I'm showing you only one. Here we have all the necessary parts for the drivetrain. As you can see, these are road wheels and road wheels bogies. You cannot avoid it in Sherman kit, so there is no surprise in that. And if I zoom in closer, you can see that road wheels are molded together with the rubber sections, but if I flip it over, you can see that inserts are molded separately, so it means you won't have to search for any masks or cut them out. You are basically, let's say, supplied with a quite nice parts design, which is more or less painting friendly, if we can say so. So you just paint this middle section in whatever color you need. You paint the rubber section in, obviously, rubber color, and then you just insert it inside and you get the clean finish. Okay, and as far as I remember, when I was building my Sherman, it was quite easy thing to assemble. Yes, it will take some time to assemble all the bogies, but it's not such a difficult task, so there is not useful thing to complain, let's say. So we zoom out, and here we have a notably larger sprue. So this one is dedicated to hull parts. We have side panels for the lower hull section. We also have this front armor section, and I can see towing cables which are pre-shaped. Actually, that's one cable, and all other minor elements together with Pioneer tools. But I guess we should zoom in so that you can check everything closer. And as far as you can see, these parts are more or less the same as in the previous release, so nothing has changed here because new parts should be supplied on the next sprue, which we will see in this video. But all in all, we have, I would say, really good external features. And as far as I remember, Edward already supplies some upgrades for this kit, so if you would like to add more things on this tank, you are more than welcome. And obviously there are some, let's say, older upgrades which were designed for different kits, but I guess it won't be difficult to adapt them to this plastic. Next, as I said, we have second plastic bag. Here you can see this new parts for the turret, and there should be also some new parts for tracks. So just give me a second to cut through this plastic bag. It's also sealed, and I need to cut through it. Okay. So it's really tight packaging, surprisingly, because this new sprue is almost as wide as the bag itself, so that's why it stretches it in the really impressive way. But here we have the let's say new sprue. So here we have some armor panels. As you can see, this glacis plate. We also have new floor panel here, and everything looks cool. So if I zoom in, you can check some external features. So we have rivets, we have recessed panel lines if they are necessary. Note that front mud guards are molded together with armor panels. And here you can see some parts for the rear section. Obviously this one will be used in the exhaust area. And if I flip it over, here you can check these parts from the opposite side. There are some guiding elements which will help with alignment. Obviously it will make it easier to combine all these separate panels together, so I don't think you'll encounter any problems. And when I was assembling my model, it was quite easy thing to get all the parts together. I did not have any issues, so I don't think you'll have any problems here as well. Next, we continue with another hull panel. As you can see, that's the top hull panel, which is also molded as a single piece part, but we have separate hatches, which is really cool. And we also have some parts, separate panels for the engine deck, but obviously engine is not included because we are not having here the interior kit, so do not overestimate this. But all in all, we have quite nice molding quality. All the attachment points are clean and thin, so it's just a matter of careful cutting through them and you'll get all the parts necessary for assembly. Next, we continue with two identical plastic frames. So these ones are dedicated to track parts. So just give me a sec. Here it is. And it is actually a good thing that we have plastic tracks here instead of typical vinyl elements. Note that drive sprockets, they should be glued out of two hulls. Here on the idlers we have pretty much the same design as what we saw on the road wheels. And tracks, they look really nice. If I zoom in, you can check them closer. And of course such, I would say, section design makes it easier because you don't have to work with the separate tracks. You just get necessary track length, which will have to be glued together. And again, when I was gluing my tank together, it was a really easy thing to align everything in the right way. So now we can move on to the last gray plastic sprue, and is the most interesting in this kit, to be honest, because it carries the new turret. And I'm quite surprised that we have actually two top panels, so it hints on also on other versions, or maybe they are also replicated here in this kit release, but we will see. And of course we have separate hatches We have also the main barrel, which is glued out of 2 holes, so that's not a good thing in my opinion, and it's better to source some metal replacement for a bit more convincing appearance. And frankly speaking, it's a bit surprising to see such design in 2021. I would rather prefer or expect a one-piece main barrel, even in such kit. I mean, because Zvezda claims that they're taking the accessible price niche, still it is possible to mold this part as a single piece part. And here we have this 2-piece assembly, and if I flip it over, inside you can see we have guiding elements. But all in all, again, we have a nice molding quality. I do not see any possible molding damage on the parts, even on the smallest ones here, for example. So even... yeah. It's interesting, even muzzle brake is molded as a 2-piece assembly, so definitely search for some aftermarket replacement, because it will give you a bit more convincing appearance of your model. Next, we continue with a separate Ziploc bag, which is dedicated to clear sprue and also decals sheet. So here is the clear sprue. Let's zoom in, and now you can see that here we have all necessary parts for periscopes. We also have lenses for headlamps, I can guess, so they will be also used. By the way, here is another lens. So masks are not supplied, but that's also a typical thing for Zvezda, nothing surprising. Decals, they look really nice. Here you can see that we have various symbols. We also have full number registry here. If camera will focus, you will see it. Yeah, now you should be able to see this white colored digits or numbers. They are included in a full array. Next, we continue with a marking guide, which is printed on a separate paper, so it is printed in color. That's why it is supplied on the separate brochure. But here you can see first marking option, and if I flip it over, here is the second one. So we have 2 marking options, which is okay, I would say, but it would be cool to have more, but nobody stops you from searching for some aftermarket options. But of course it will cost a bit more money. And here we continue with assembly manual. So this one is printed as a black and white brochure. Note that we have assembly options. The main difference is actually this top turret panel, and also you can see that drive sprocket is dark colored. So I guess there will be a different version. We have short history note here as well. And then we proceed with the parts map. So assembly process starts with a turret, where you will have to choose the right part depending on the marking option you decide to replicate on in your build. You can also assemble here the muzzle brake. You assemble the main barrel for the main gun. Then we flip over the page and you can see we continue with installation of all these hatches on the turret. Note that manufacturer does not mention possibility to open them, but I guess it's easy to guess how to open all these hatches, and it might be handy for figurines placement. And by the way, it's really surprising that Zvezda did not include any Tankman figure here, because they usually do this stuff. Next, we start working on the lower hull section, where you assemble all these suspension elements, drive sprockets, and install them in place. Then you have to install all these tracks. And here it's better to think how to get this as a sub-assembly, paint it, and then get on back on the hull. But it's up to you, maybe you just prefer to paint it on the tank. Next we continue with the engine deck, and then you install various minor elements here and there on the main hull. And final steps include installation of this top hull cover, also some Pioneer tools and towing cable, and then you just click the turret into the place. It should be turnable, and it can be also replicated in a transport position when the main barrel is in the lock. So all in all, we get a quite nice kit in 1/35 scale from Zvezda, and if you are not afraid of this 2-piece barrel, it's quite a good thing to build, and price is quite accessible as well. Of course, I will be happy to hear your opinion about such a release. Do not forget to write it here in the comment section below. If you like this video, press the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today, and bye!